#1 seed going into the playoffs. We casted the first match last week and a bit of second one, which unfortunately got interrupted by D1 semis. But for those that have not seen the table, Gamt actually ended up clawing their way back to a 1-1 scoreline after beating DNC by only 10 points, so quite the close match that unfortunately we didn't get to watch live, with Beckett and Luna leading the charge, though the entire team actually played at, or at least scored at a decent level, lowest being 86, highest being 96. Hero performance by Theodore, 110, unfortunately not enough to close this match out. Thankfully for DNC, since there was a whole week between this match and the previous one, the momentum is not as strong in Gamt's favor. Though we must remind the audience that with this being match 3, the match 1 picks are now able to be picked back up, so DNC may be having some strong maps of their own that they can pick again in match 3, the track picks that they used for match 1 anyway. So we are currently, I believe, around 8 in room, so we shall wait just a little bit for the baggers to 7 actually. So we shall wait just a little bit for the baggers and the last player to get in the room. But yeah, overall it's looking as expected, like a pretty close match. If the second match out of the 3 is anything to go by, lineups are the same as they were last week, to our knowledge. So it is going to be for Gamt's side, it's going to be Luna, Eric, Beckett, and Marky with volleybagging. As for DNC, it's going to be Wexos, J-Ray, Theodore, Romp, and Alpha bagging. Both baggers actually were around even, I'd say, during the first match at least. Unfortunately, we didn't get to catch the second match live, so unsure if that Gamt win was due to maybe Bali locking in a bit more match 2, but I guess we shall see what the result ends up being at the end of this match. Regardless of what happens, we'll end up seeing which team goes against Pancake in probably around a week's time, maybe 2 weeks at most, but I would say around a week's time. Either way, as per usual, if you want to keep an eye on what matches are going on, just make sure to get notifications on right here so you won't miss anything, or just watch the VOD afterwards. Regardless, not sure exactly what to expect out of this match in terms of who wins, because while DNC were definitely dominant on the first one, Gamt has shown great mental resilience with just being able to claw back up even after such a large win. A deficit by 72 after 10 races is definitely nothing to scoff at. Forcing to, as much as being forced to FF in like a playoffs match is common, it's still not something that a lot of teams can mentally recover from, but it shows Gamt's experience that they were able to, even in as close to the match as match 2 was, to be able to just keep themselves in the game. I believe that we are now close, no, actually still 7 in room, so a bit more time for me to stall. One thing I will say that I'm surprised by is simply that Luna doesn't seem as dominant as he was during the regular season. MVP of the Div by 37 points. He hasn't broken 100 in either of those matches. Granted, obviously, the pressure of the playoffs and just playing against a higher level opponent by default is definitely something to worry about. But he hasn't seemed to be the carry that Gamt are looking for to really cement themselves as a second place team, at least the second team to go against Pancake in the finals. We'll have to see if that changes tonight. Maybe it was just a bad evening for him or anything along those lines, but maybe expect to see a better showing from him this match in particular. Theodore, absolutely, not necessarily. Maybe not the hero wouldn't be the right word, simply because his performance during the second match wasn't enough to get them across the finish line, though 110 regardless during a semifinals match is absolutely nothing to scoff at. But the entirety of the NC overall played pretty well. No really member of either team has fallen behind in terms of points, at least in terms of level of play. Both were around equal. It's just it was just mainly a matter of just who got into a better spot as a team, which definitely is appreciated. It's always nice to see an entire team working as a well-oiled machine rather than just one player having to drag the others out of the mud. But we'll have to see if anyone steps up here to be the hero that brings them to the finals. Just a quick check. Oh, apparently Romp actually. Appreciate it, Lawrence. Apparently Romp is a bit late, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to wait just for a little bit longer as we wait for DNC's last runner to join the room. No, Gam's no DNC is the last runner. I thought I made a mistake, but thankfully doesn't seem to be the case. Still 7 in room regardless. Is there anything really to go by? Actually, yeah, the first the 12 races that were picked match 2 that we aren't gonna see during this match. Castle of Time, which we saw during the first race, one of the game's biggest track picks. Candy Coaster, Aqua Dungeon, DS TikTok Clock, Shaggy Lumberco. Unfortunate for me, really appreciate casting and playing this track. Big Ninja City, Thumb Bump Forest, Alpine Skyway, Great Apple War, Canyon Run, GBA BC2, and Vile Isle as the last pick. So all 12 of those races we're not going to be able to see during this match. I was admittedly surprised while I was casting the start of match 2 to see Castle of Time picked while Gamped were odds, but to my knowledge it ended up being pretty alright for them. So a fairly unconventional track pick since you usually see this for evens, so just to let second get ahead of first with their better line, but I do remember Luna being able to keep their first regardless. So yeah, all of those 12 tracks, don't expect to see them during this match. I'd say mainly it's probably better for DNC. I'm seeing a lot of just flat tracks in general, like GBA BC2, Aqua Dungeon, Castle of Time, TikTok, Big Nature. A lot of tracks that you'd expect Gamt to pick rather than DNC, simply because DNC are seen as more so this quote-unquote CT mains with less experience but more niche knowledge, as we saw during match 1. But we'll see regardless which side Mr. Bean favors when it comes to track picks in particular. Yeah, unfortunately, just still having to wait for that last runner. Hopefully it won't be too long regardless. Regardless of either team, I'd say, regardless of either team winning, I am expecting as close of a match towards against Pancake, because every single team was rather close except for the last in the division, but all teams were rather equal. It was mainly just a matter of a few points between first and fourth seeds. So regardless of what the outcome is, we can expect a pretty decent finals run from either team. Which is not always the case, unfortunately. There are some divisions where semis are pretty much fighting for scraps, but hopefully shouldn't be the case for this division in particular. I can see either of those teams really performing well, except if the one exception would maybe be if Clay really locks in for this finals in particular. Clay having D2 experience could probably be quite the fearsome carry during this finals match, but I suppose we'll just have to see it when we get to it. Rob finally joining room, so we only have the baggers left to start off this match. Shouldn't take too long. Yeah, both baggers eagerly waiting to start off this match after being only 5 minutes 5 minutes late. Granted, we just had to wait a couple minutes for the baggers to arrive. Tracks to expect from DNCE, I must say I am not. I should grab the track list back up, actually. From DNCE, potentially maybe Banish Keep. We did see J-Ray training on that in the pre-match stream that he put up. Maybe something like Obstagoon Palace. We do remember it being quite formidable for them going into match 1. A Christmas Court as well, a rather obvious pick for odds. Any of them I can really see being picked. It's just a matter of what DNC prefer in the moment or depending on what happened match 1. So our POVs for this match will have Beckett, we'll have J-Ray, I believe, we'll have Luna, and we have Theodore. We do have 4 POVs. Thank you, Lawrence, for cycling through 4 POVs. So quite a bit variety here. If anybody gets stuck too far in the front or in the back, we should always have a good bit of action to get us going throughout this match. And for race 1, what shall the pick be? Drumroll, please. Ow, that was a that was a horrendous idea. But regardless, our first pick here is going to be actually Infernal Pipe Yard. Interesting. Not a pick that we're used to seeing from TNC. It was actually on Pancake's track list. GBA Sunset Wild is rather expected from Gamt. It was their pick during the first match, with Luna trying to get into first right away, and Sunset Wild once again being the map that is picked for this first race. Might be a good idea to switch to Luna just to see the battle for first as we start. But regardless, anyone that gets into the front really, Jerry also a great pick. Thank you. Did not realize he was the first. So let's see which one managed to keep first on here. Can be quite the formidable running track. I do believe that Jerry stays in first ahead of Luna, actually. It's quite close. Ooh, Theodore actually getting a draft here, able to pass his teammate. And Jerry pulling a shrew in second immediately. So Theodore might want to pass, might just want to let him pass. Actually just takes the Shroom Cut, prefers to take that small break in top 2 away from the Gant member in third, rather than get the blue protection. Doesn't get that last boost pad, but it seems fine. We do see someone else, we do see Rompe in third actually going to be able to clear Gamt away. But DNC actually now in top 3 going into lap 2. Gam trying to Mega Alpha, but not succeeding. Both baggers still fairly close. I do believe that actually, one of them slowing down. Maybe either having Bill or Shock. Really nice POW there from Luna, getting Rompe out, and only now top 2 ahead. Even though they are ahead by quite a bit, that Shroom going to be able to cut the lead just a little bit, but if Theodore and J-Ray can just manage to get a few double backs going, they should be able to keep themselves in the lead. Double green attempt doesn't get anyone, unfortunate, and the trick pretty much guarantees that he's going to stay out of this top 2. The rest of the mid pack really close. Marquee coming closer to Luna, so it's now 3-4 for Gamps with DNC in 5th. Both baggers still going backwards, actually, regardless. We do see Alpha in a star, and one of the baggers stopping, actually. One of the baggers going forward. Interesting. Not sure exactly who it is that has Shock, but we do not see any dodges for now. Luna shrooming up. Maybe that Hero Bomb into the corner. It's a bit too wide. Theodore and J-Ray still going to be top 2. Will probably keep it. Probably at best to switch POVs towards the back. I doubt that Theodore and J-Ray lose. Well, actually, that POW on Luna as Theodore just maybe falls off or something along those lines, loses second. Shock here allows, I believe, a DNC member, no one actually to dodge. Beckett, thankfully, that run of green is not going to be able to get anything out of this race. And DNC actually get top 2, bottom 2 on Gam's track pick. Great job out of Theodore and J-Ray to just keep first the, or actually, no. Wait, sorry. Theodore failing at the end, so not being able to keep that second place. So Jerry, the only one in the front. So it should be a good map for Gamp. Depends on how far back Theodore was. Could very well be between 3rd and 5th, if anything. We shall see. And it is 5th for Theodore. So 2, 3, 4, 6. Actually a good map for Gamp to start off, regardless of Theodore and Jerry's just lead at the start. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Theodore. Could have been just a mechanical mistake. Could be him not getting the trick, bumping a bit too far. But it is Gamps now in the lead with 7 points to start off, regardless of how good DNC was at the start. It was a DNC shock, most likely, seeing the spots in general. But it doesn't seem to be benefiting them a bit, either because a lack of dodges on DNC's side or anything along those lines. But regardless of that, rather an impactful shock, we're going to go ahead and get into the second race. Infernal Pipe Yard being picked once more with J-Ray in first. And DSBC, ooh, quite the interesting track pick there. Was it on? It was on their track list, actually, yeah, but it is a rather uncommon track pick. You don't see a lot of teams pick it. But for 234, we can expect 234-6, we can expect quite a few drafts coming out from 4th and 6th, with 2 and 3 trying to run up. But Infernal Pipe Yard is going to be the track that is picked for race 2. The game plan here is pretty much for J-Ray to try and keep first as much as possible, back early, just try to keep a break with the rest of the team getting shrooms for the cut lap 2, possibly the cut at the start. We shall see if any of them are courageous enough in D4 to go for it. It is something you definitely see in more of an upper div. Luna, with the Kenzo start boost, actually ends up being bumped off, and another Gamp member, I believe, also off, so J-Ray doing a great job to keep to stay in first, and Theodore joining his teammate into second. So Beckett, the only one up there now with a red, gonna try maybe and hit out someone, and Wexo's actually in fourth. So it is DNC. Oh, actually, wait, Theodore apparently being bumped off. So only 1-3 for DNC. Probably a lack of communication from J-Ray and Theodore, or just some lag. Preventing them from keeping that top 2, but DNC is still in a good spot regardless. Beckett, we shall see if he's either going to try and back. Ooh, it is. He's going to try and back aggressively towards Theodore with Luna in fourth. It is still a pretty decent spot for Gamp as long as a few of them get shrooms. Nice dodge on the green shell, possibly another back here. And TC in 4, he's going to need to pass that to Theodore. No protection from him, so well, actually that Fib not being able to connect either. Trying to slow for the blue shell. Jerry gets hit regardless. TC'd off. Just a bunch of chaos in the mid pack. Luna off and Marky off as well. Just a bunch of chaos, and the pack is pretty much reset now. But Gamp is still in quite the dire straits here with being 4, 5, 6, 7. DNC in top 3 now. That POW not doing much to shake that top 3. Both baggers still off, as we see none of them having shock. Red connecting on Theodore, unfortunately not having any protection for that, so Gamp now in 3-4-5. J-Ray trying to shroom up ahead of Luna, not managing to bump him off. Luna shrooming as well in 5th now without protection, gets redded by Theodore, so it is top 2-5-6 for DNC with Marky and Beckett fighting in the mid pack. Marky being actually backed off, I believe, so Beckett once again the only one behind the DNC top 2. Maybe some nanas here, and actually managing to connect, not being backed off, but Marky not being backed off, but just backs. J-Ray trying to fight for that mid-pack spot here, possibly having more shrooms behind Marky, and he does actually the entire mid-pack taking cut. The top 6 is pretty much in the same corners. Someone got bumped off, pretty hard to see which one. Shock comes out. It seems to be possibly a Gant Shock with Eric dodging, but it's not enough. He gets redded. DNC is still in top 2 regardless. That shroom probably going to be chained by Beckett. He does. Mega, that is pretty much the jackpot pull. Exactly what you want here. Either for a late second shock to be used or just to clear the backs that could be thrown by top 2. Really nice snipe by Marky, getting his team into 3-4-5. Theodore in second, and another DNC member in first, I do believe. Mega from Luna, actually double Mega from Gamp, spacing them out to make sure that they don't get wrecked too hard by a DNC late shock if it does come out. I thought someone got Mega, thankfully not. The Wexos in 1, going to be targeted by that blue. He's going to cross, so it's top 2 for DNC with Gamp pretty much in the entire mid pack. Once again, an extremely close race from both teams, but this time more in DNC's favor as they get top 2, bottom 2. What we thought happened during Sunset Wells before that Theodore fall off there. Quite the chaotic race, I will say. Pretty much the start of every lap ended up being a huge pack shift, whether because of a rogue blue or because the entire pack taking cuts. Quite the close race regardless of a Gamp Shock that didn't quite end up connecting simply because Eric got redded out right after he dodged. So DNC getting a bit of a getting a good race for them, but it's not going to be enough to get ahead of Gamp. Good lord, sorry, need some water. Only 4 points away now as we go into race 3. Neither team quite managing to break away for those first 3 races, as we see. Even before the first ZPs, there's already quite a bit of action. Infernal Pipe Yard, pretty surprising to see this much action on Infernal Pipe Yard. Sure, there's the cut at the start, but usually If top 2 can get a few double backs going, they usually just stay ahead, but Gam's refusing to let top 2 run. Quite a fair play to them, in all honesty. That shock is absolutely helping in keeping the mid pack closer. Final grounds for top 2, bottom 2 makes sense to me. And the SBC once again being picked by Gamt. It is going to be final grounds once again. DNC chaining track picks. Top 2 is just going to try and run, get double backs going, block cut possibly, with the members of the back getting shrooms for cuts. We shall see if Theodore keeps his second place. He can go pretty tight here. J-Ray might want to let him pass, as I believe Luna actually bumps them both out and gets in first. Beckett getting a draft. And Gamt now in the top spots here. Theodore going to try and outline. He manages to do so. Gets into first regardless of Gamt's best effort. Possibly some bumping going on there. We do see someone else going on the right side. Could possibly be Luna. We'll see if there's a back green here, possibly switching POVs. Thank you, Lawrence, towards Luna with Golden actually going to probably save this towards the double cut. We do see Gamt in 3-4 and quite a bit of the mid pack there with J-Ray holding something in 5th. Gets a bit of the rail going, manages to claw back up towards J-Ray, and gets start off. Luna, J-Ray with a huge star there, getting Gamt's carry out of the race. But Gamt, as we see, quite a bit ahead still, 1-3-5. Does Marky back anything on cut? No. Does J-Ray make it with a shroom? He fails! Unfortunately, one of the best, and Theodore failing as well. DNC just not making the cut on their own track pick, allowing Gamt to pretty much run in top 2. Red, thankfully skipping Beckett, allowing him to stay in second a bit longer, but I believe there is one last item behind Romp. Could be the snipe that he needs. Actually, I don't believe he's trailing anything for the time being. Shroom in second. Not exactly what you need if Romp gets a red there, but stays in second. Tries to at least, as a blue is called towards Marky, but he's far enough ahead that he should keep first regardless. Nana's up, gets Romp. That should be top 2 for Gamt secured. But Romp actually shrooms back up immediately, tries to keep his top spot for DNC. The only one that they seem to have as Gamt is top 2 for that POW. Gonna try and POW red Romp maybe. No, chooses to keep it interesting. Gets POW'd into the wall. So great POW from what you have to assume is DNC getting Wexos and Romp in 2-3 and Jerry in 4th actually. The mid pack is fairly close aside from Marky in first. Luna getting chaining that star into a golden. Maybe going to be his little redemption arc after Jerry's star earlier. We do see both baggers. Actually, one bagger one bagger at the cut set and one bagger closer to the front, so not sure if a bagger might have pulled shock already. You would have to assume so, seeing as the bagger is going forward. Golden up from Luna as Theodore megas into the cut. Luna gets into second. Marky still gone into first. Let's see if he makes the cut. He does. Top 2 for Gamt. No one failing cut actually on the minimap as we see. So DNC still 3-4 regardless, going to try and contest the Gamt into this final leg of the race. Nanotite thankfully managed to be avoided as Romp is right behind him. Maybe is taking someone is taking Shroom Cut. It is J-Ray going to try and contest Luna with this golden. Tries to bump into the wall, gets into second, but doesn't have an item. If Luna gets the snipe here, this is a huge race for Gamt. It's going to be all down to J-Ray trying to keep this spot. Maybe try and snipe above him. Tries to snipe him. Those triple nanas keep him in check. And thankfully, J-Ray able to keep this second place for DNC as we see them in 6-8. Not the best race for them, but J-Ray preventing that side snipe, managing to keep DNC in pretty much a decent race. Would have been quite disastrous if he got hit out there, because you have to assume that after that, there was possibly a combo behind him with either more shells or just a member of Gamt coming up. But as we see, a really good race for Gamt regardless. After DNC's frankly fumble, you have to call it that. Both J-Ray and Theodore failing cut lap 1 definitely put them in a pretty bad spot going into lap 2. So 1-3-4-7 from Gamt putting them back into the lead. Now ahead by around should be around maybe 13 points. Oh, 17 points actually, more so than I expected. That 1-3-4 definitely helping out. Luna now firmly in first place individually after those last 2 races, definitely helping him out. DNC now have to try and get. Then there we go. That's about what I expected. I was about to say pretty much, as I like to call it, a skill issue reset track, aka a reset track that still requires a bit of track knowledge that the other team may not have, and Cosmic Growth is exactly what you want here with a Shroom Cut that's fairly unorthodox, I must say, at the end of the track. DS Wario maybe, but no, DNC just chaining track picks and managing to get exactly what they needed here to try and claw themselves out of this hole before the end of GP1. So we'll have to see if J-Ray can keep his second here. He does have the route on the left side to get a trick off to try and get ahead of Marky at the start. Speaking of which, great job by Marky to just get ahead by that much on final grounds can definitely be appreciated. First box in second, it's going to be a fib. Not exactly what you want here, but he does get into first immediately. A lot of Gamp being hit out almost instantly. I do believe I see Theodore shrooming up. He is in third with Eric in first now. Nice try by J-Ray, but it's not going to be enough. Now stuck behind Eric. That fib a bit early. I expected it back on the Shroomless, but J-Ray is going to keep second for now. We might want to switch away from this POV. I doubt a lot is going to happen in that top two for the time being, as mid-pack is still fairly close. With Theodore in third. Someone taking Shroom Cut actually up there. Green snipe attempt. But no, someone else got hit by that sniped fib there. Luna now in first with double Shrooms using that track knowledge against DNC. And now pretty much gone in first. I do believe that as long as Luna just doesn't make any big driving mistakes, he should stay in one, regardless of Romp being in second. Marty, Eric, and Beckett in 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue held by Beckett as Gampt get into top 3. DNC's track pick coming back to bite them now as Gampt is in a pretty good position. Both baggers still going backwards with Bolly being in 9. So Alpha could definitely pull a shock to get back into the race, especially with this Mega by J-Ray having the one dodge that we do see on our POVs. I doubt that Gampt is holding any dodges, and it is instantly a shock into first set here by Alpha as J-Ray shrooms up into second, could possibly get into first here ahead of Luna with this last shroom. We'll have to see, he'll probably decide to hold it until the ending. Doesn't save as much time as the first 2 laps, but could be exactly what he needs. Backs by Luna, manages to dodge perfectly, manages to stay in second with Gampt still behind him. I do not believe any other MC dodge that Shroom Cut. We'll have to see if it's enough. Gets up there, gets the title line, and it is going to be first for J-Ray, managing to once again be the hero for his team. But we do see Theodore not wanting to be too beaten by his teammate, get into third, and I do believe I saw Romp in either fourth or between fourth and sixth. So great map by DNC overall. Alpha's shock managing to get themselves back into this match here at the end of GP1 as they get around odd spots, or at least close to that. Great job by J-Ray dodging Luna's backs. J-Ray really stepping up right here. Besides that one blunder in final ground, definitely stepping up in this GP1 as DNC's main point scorer here with this first place. So after this, well, unfortunately, is it one of those? It might be one of those maps where baggers take an excruciatingly long amount of time to decide the bagging points. So we do have quite a bit of time to discuss the race proper. Luna trying to foam those nanas behind Cut on lap 1, but actually not as big of a race for DNC as I thought. Is again 1-3-6-8, so it should be pretty even with Bolly getting bagger point, possibly a win by 1 or 2 for DNCE. As we see, it is actually a win by 1 with barely enough to count as the winning race, but it is a winning race. They do have the momentum going into GP2, even if they're down by 16. And actually, maybe a pen possibly being called as Alpha bumped Beckett into a Shy Guy on GBA Sunset Wild. So most likely going to be counted as a -5 for Gampt. So if it is counted as a -5, it is only a lead by 11, which is definitely more doable. And I am informed that it might be a -10 since it is since it is not against a wall, but against an object that sends him back. We'll have to keep you updated, folks, as we check in the rep chat. Mostly 10s called here, so it is only a lead by 6. Pretty much nothing here, let's be honest, in this match with 2 GPs going. DNC must feel pretty good with that pen as Christmas Court is picked for them. Their usual alt track pick as 1-3-6-8. J-Ray once again going to be the one that's going to keep himself in the front, right in front of Luna, the Div MVP, and stays in front for now. We might want to change POVs as we see Eric Markey in 2-3, trying to contest a bit J-Ray. Back green, great back green on Eric, manages to make himself a bit more of a lead in front. Rump and Beckett both taking cuts, as DNC now in top 3, not going to be here for long though, as Rumpet only had triple shrooms where Beckett had a golden. But Theodore and Jerry, once again, this combo in top 2 has been quite lethal for DNC for most of this match. They just need to get the rest of themselves up there. Both baggers, as we one of the baggers actually already going forward could possibly be Alpha, trying to just hold that shock for his top 2. We'll just have to see if it's Bolly on there. And a blue already coming out for J-Ray, so Theodore is going to be the only one up there. And we do see Bolly being in 9th, so most likely Alpha, in 10th, sorry, Bolly in 10th, with Alpha most likely holding the shock in 9, only wanting to use a single one for this entire race. Theodore going to try and keep himself in the race. Ooh, a bit of awkward driving there, but regardless, stays in first. We might want to switch POV. Oh, never mind! Right as I call to switch POVs, fail by Theodore, which is going to get him in the mid pack here. Luna dodging that blue, and it is now Gamped in top 2 with Theodore, with Wexo, sorry, in 3rd. So that shock might be called a bit earlier than you might expect, with DNC now definitely not in control of this race. And Luna, quite unfortunate POV timings there as he's in the wall there, but Gamped with Beckett still in top 2. J-Ray not with an item. I do expect DNC to maybe call into set here, into this set or the next one. And it is exactly what's going to happen, with Romp dodging in a star, Mega being instantly used by J-Ray, not wanting to waste any time in that small form, dodging that bomb as well, pulling a bomb in 4th. Beckett getting bumped out here, so it is going to be top 2 for DNC, with Luna trying to contest here. Another member on his right. We cannot see, unfortunately, who it is just yet. It is Theodore. So DNC firmly in control of this race. That back bomb could be very lethal from Jay. We'll have to see how it goes. Luna dodging that Nana snipe, but getting backed by Romp. So top 3 now for DNC, as J-Ray still has that back bomb. And he does, immediately backing out Luna as he tries to shroom up. Gets started by his teammate, and that's going to mean bottom 2 for Gamped. Great shock call from DNC. They're getting themselves into set. Thankfully, J-Ray pulling that Mega, just allowing him to get up there. But Romp, Romp just getting that back on Luna there after Luna just dodges so much item play, but it's not. No one's invincible in this game, and unfortunately, Luna learns that the hard way. Gets backed by Romp, gets back bombed by J-Ray after, and now with that -10, DNC is now firmly in the lead with possibly, I believe, around 20 points. Oh wait. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Apologies. No, DNC got that pen, so it is DNC actually still not in the lead regardless of that good race. My mistake. But yeah, so regardless, that pen actually not exactly what you want if you're DNC, simply because of the fact that even with that good race in top 3, you're still not out of the woodworks, though you're much closer than you were a few moments ago, with Warrior Stadium being the obvious track pick for DNC. Though you got to be careful. The 4th member of Gamped, which I believe was Markey, could possibly just draft ahead if he manages to get anything on Theodore or Romp. Lakeside Park out of Gamped, the rather usual track pick from them, which, as we see, is finally going to give them a track pick in their favor when they need it the most. Lakeside Park is a track that is defined by the Shroomless, and having that track knowledge around how to play around it can definitely make or break a race there. So Gamp's more experienced on that track, going to try and abuse that. J-Ray choosing to hold on a bit before going towards the boxes, gets a box in 7th without too much hassle, gets a golden. We'll have to see if he holds it or decides to use it immediately. It is held. Wexos, in the meantime, decides to shroom up immediately. Wonder who is in 8th for now, but it is in star regardless, so no one has Bill. So baggers, unfortunately, have to face the roulette of the star for this for this track there to be able to make that strat, and none of them go for the shroomless ones, which would be pretty interesting. But regardless, DNC now in top 3 with Jere. That small bump, losing him a bit of time as Luna actually sneaks his way into that top 3, but gets hit out by Romp immediately. Romp having his number once again. So top 2 for DNC, even as Romp fails the shroomless just a little bit. But it is that top 3 for DNC as we see both baggers actually making it backwards. So pretty competitive bagging battle. Fairly rare actually on this track. One of the baggers falling off with Bill as Eric gets into third, breaking that top 4. Marky with those strip reds, getting J-Ray out of the top 4 with no item pretty much to spare. So Beckett coming back after that horrendous start to his race in 5th. DNC still fairly in control as Luna actually goldens up in that top 4. Tries to green snipe Romp. It's not enough. Maybe it's just a bit too late. I might want to switch POVs for now as we get into the shroomless cut, which is going to be big here with this close of a pack. Luna in second here, tries to snipe out Wexos. It's not going to connect. Both runners making the cut. Marky getting it behind his teammate into third, possibly getting the draft there, as Theodore could get a draft on Marky himself. Neither player getting the draft. Marky choosing to swerve, not wanting his teammate to get past because of him. Theodore getting a box in fourth. Bumps out Marky here and gets a blue for, just holds the blue for Wexos, allowing him to stay pretty much safe the entire rest of the race, but it is going to be powed out, no hop dodge. Great dodge on those triple nanas though, blocked by the blooper. Not exactly something that you would expect. Bill being used by a runner here, I believe, possibly DNC runner. Theodore holding that shroom for now. It was used by Jere actually, possibly meaning that Gamt has the shock. You would expect him to keep it if anything were to happen. We'll have to see. Does Luna decide to TS himself? No, he doesn't. Theodore actually choosing to hop off, so it is a DNC shock, actually. J-Ray just wanted to get up there to get into the TS with Theodore. So DNC now in top 3 after TSing them in 3-4. We should see Wexos keeping that third. Beckett falling off and Romp in 5th now. This is a huge race for DNC. Top 3-5 on Gam's track pick. I expected Gam to have shock simply because of J-Ray using that bill, but he chooses to just get up there alongside his teammate to get the double TS off. Great play by them just in general. And now they're firmly in control with that huge race. Around 20 points ahead, 24 points ahead now. Going past the half point of that war. I must say, great shock from DNC, great read of the match there on Gam's track pick. Right as I expected Gamt to get a huge race there with those spots and their further experience. DNC showing that they're willing to adapt to these old tracks and getting firmly in the lead now. We'll just have to see if Gamt can stay in the race or if we'll see a repeat of match 1 with DNC running away after a couple running track picks. Regardless, we should see possibly another DS Warrior Stadium pick out of DNC. Yep, coming out immediately, as expected. One of the most broken running tracks in this format. Might as well abuse it. And we'll have to see which one is picked out of Gamp now that Lakeside is gone. Possibly something along the lines of Thumb Bum Forest that they have picked before. Oh, actually, no, it was pick match 2. GB Circuit possibly, but the Rabbit Hole coming out. Interesting. Once again, another really old track pick, one they prioritized early in the draft, and pretty much they're pretty surprised actually that they didn't hold it for top bottom. I guess they decided to go no holds barred for here, but unfortunately, DS Warrior Stadium, Mr. Bean is not in their favor, going towards DNC once again. Warrior Stadium for top 3-5. We'll have to see if Luna can make anything happen in. We'll have to see if he can make anything happen there. I was informed that that apparently there was a bit of miscommunication from the NC last race, but it ended up being all right. But Gampt, Luna just being ended up immediately backed after managing to get up there. Manages to back Wexos out, so Wexos is going to be gone in 8th for now. Beckett passing that TC to J-Ray, so DNC actually, regardless of starting ahead in the race now in bottom 2 as Romp tries to mega up. Luna forced into that mega by Romp once again. Romp just hitting him out pretty much at every single opportunity. Unfortunately, bumping the wall. He's not going to be able to pass Romp and Theodore. Marquis remaining in first for now. Does Romp have any protection? He does not. So that is now Luna in third here, trying to pass Theodore to get into top 2. Going to be quite the fierce battle there with his teammate in fourth. So Gamt in great spots for now, as Beckett unfortunately pulls a TC in fourth, as we see by the marker. But that Nanosnipe could very well be exactly what he needs to pass it to Theodore. That Pow not helping out, and Beckett now out of the top 4 with Wexos billing up, needing to get out of that bottom half. Tries to snipe Beckett out with that bomb. Gets another bomb right after, but surrounded by his teammate. He cannot do much for now. Eric shrooming up in front of him. We'll see if it is a bomb snipe attempt, but it hits the crowd, I would expect. Both backers still going backwards to my knowledge. Yeah, both backers still going backwards. Shouldn't be a dodge shock just yet. Eric eating that random green, unfortunately. So Romp in and Jerry in 5-6. Theodore in third, and Gamt still in top 2. DNC have not managed to catch back up as expected of Warrior Stadium, really. That not helping out any bit. Without Shock, you can pretty much expect just Gamt to get a really good race here. That blooper definitely isn't going to do him any favors. Star in 7, trying to get something here. Doesn't get anything for now. That Shock not doing much to help him out. Theodore possibly dodging in a Mega, gets into second place here. Tries to snipe out Marquis. Not going to be enough. Marquis keeps first and Luna in third. So good race. Should be good race for Gamt if they can manage to get past J-Ray, which they don't. So it is 1-3-6-8. Fairly neutral race. Unfortunate that your DNC, just the running track that you want, gets completely dismantled by Gamt. Thankfully, that ending shock allows Theodore to get into second, tries to mitigate the damage there. But thankfully, Marquis keeping first. Marquis has been running a lot of these races, getting in the front early and just keeping up with the entire pack there. So yeah, 1-3-6-8 for Gamt. Gets barely a winning race. If anything, they indeed get 3 points simply because of bagger point. It is damage control. It is absolutely damage control on something like Warrior Stadium, which is definitely something you need. But we'll have to see if they can capitalize on having the momentum back towards their favor as we head towards the end of GP2. As a matter of track pick at this point, really, no matter how even the spots are. Good lord, my throat's killing me. Regardless, we'll have to see now what they choose to pick, since both teams are in a spot that they weren't in for a while now. Lava Lake deciding to be picked out by DNC, and the Rabbit Hole once again by Gamt. This is more of the spots I'd expect for Rabbit Hole, top bottom, allowing Marquis and Luna to just take the Shroomlesses at their start, get ahead, and get Shrooms in bottom spots to just try and join them. And the Rabbit Hole is going to be picked by Gamt. Really old track, one that they have a lot of experience in. Once again, that's not no for a second caster curse. They do need. They are still 21 points behind. They do need that to catch up as we go into the third GP. We'll have to see if Theodore can maybe keep up with Marquis and Luna as we head into that first Shroomless here. Is either bagger going to let their runners go for Bill? That is also something that we must consider. Possibly, yeah, switching towards Theodore's POV seems like the thing to do here, as we do see him trying to contest Marquis and Luna. But Romp joining the party here and trying to get up there as well. Luna getting one more boost pad, so he's getting in second. And Luna failing cut. Throws a red, so he is going to get hit out. Romp not getting hit out either, so Romp in, Marquis staying in top 2. So fairly even race for the time being, as we see DNC in bottom 2, though. I don't know if J-Ray stayed for Bill. Both baggers going forward for a box, though. So just trying to, neither of them going for the Shroomless, just wants to get a safe way into the strat. J-Ray getting a POW in 7 could be very powerful, depending on where he decides to use it, possibly early on in that spiral, or just decide to hold it for the mushroom section. Beckett shrooming ahead towards Eric and Marquis. Again, now in top 3 actually after this, but a blue is immediately pulled and thrown on Marquis, and exactly choosing to POW at the end of that mushroom section, not allowing Gam to keep their items. Gamp still in top 2 after that blue regardless, but Theodore now close behind. We might want to switch POVs real quick. Thank you, Lawrence. So Theodore in third tries to throw that red at Beckett, but as we saw, he did have protection. He's going to allow his teams to keep top 2 going. Theodore choosing to let his teammate pass, throwing red at Beckett. We'll have to see if this one connects. It should. If nothing goes wrong, it does connect barely on the river, allowing DNC to get into 2-3-4. Marky once again, the last bastion for Gamt. No, Eric, sorry. Sorry, it is not Marky for once, but Lunas tries to shroom back up, gets him, chains the Mega, tries to get in front of them. That POW not doing anything for him. Gets the tricks on the hedges, but it's not enough to pass a Wexos. Eric either getting redded or something along those lines at least. Looks like Wexos is now in first. Really awkward shroomless by Luna. Stays right behind Wexos. That red is going to connect. Luna now probably gone in first, being the only one of top 2 to take that cut, but DNC close behind him. We shall switch POVs. No Marky actually shrooming up, just getting up there as well, trying to support his teammate as much as possible. Both runners going for the branch, not wanting to concede that second place. 2 people taking shroom cut. We do see Wexos going a bit wide, and he fell off, unfortunately. The DNC member not allowing Jerry any breathing room with any teammates around him. Get back into top 3, but right as I say that, Theodore shrooming up, having one last shroom right behind Marky's shell. And he doesn't get mushroomed, unlike Marky, so he should get into third. That POW is going to be brutal. Thankfully, doesn't connect. The red skips him. Marky throwing a red at Eric. Thankfully, doesn't connect. Probably hit the Koopa, and Marky immediately redeeming himself by throwing that red onto Theodore, not managing to pull out that red in time. Then Gamt now in top 4 as someone goldens up on the left side. Wexos now, Marky immediately with the reds at the ready, and reds him in the grass, pretty much taking him out of the race, but someone got planted. I believe it is Marky that got planted, allowing DNC to get into 3-4, into 4-5, sorry, but without a late shock, it is pretty much unexpected for DNC to catch back up, and I expect the Gams to be holding onto that. Actually, Romp dodge. Never mind, Romp dodging in a Mega right at the end there, trying to save some points for his team, trying to red out Eric, and manages to do so. And 3-4-5 actually for DNC. Right as I was praising Gams for getting into top 3 early, DNC, that late shock by Alpha, a lot of late shocks from Alpha in general, managing to allow Romp to dodge and chaining those triple reds, just allowing him to get the last member of Gamt out of the top 3. And it is now a fairly even race, so it is still in favor of Gamt somewhat, up 5 points. It is definitely not what you wanted when you're pretty much top 4 going into the river section. But it is a winning race. It is pretty much what you need going into the last GP. Still going to be quite the uphill battle. 16 points is still around top 2-4-6 or something along those lines. Still a really good race that is needed to claw themselves back into the lead. And even then, we know DNC is able to get back up. So it's not a battle won if you even manage to get up there. But Alpha, with those late shocks, just managing to keep DNC fairly in the lead regardless, salvaging a lot of races. As you see, Lava Lake being picked by DNC in the mid spots. A fairly expected track pick. We have seen them pick it a couple of times before. Fairly standard one, and White Garden being picked by Gamps in top 2, bottom in around top 2, 6, 8 or 6, 7, I believe. Just a fairly usual running track, trying to get shrooms for that late cut. But Lava Lake once again, well, I say once again, Gamp didn't get a few track picks going into this last GP, but it is DNC that's going to get their way. We have to keep an eye on those mid spots there. Any shrooms that allow them to get up there could pretty much seal the race at the end of lap 1. Might want to switch POVs here. We expect Luna to keep first. Romp actually getting ahead of his teammate. But Beckett getting shrooms. Wexos as well. Beckett chooses to hold them, possibly for the volcano cut that's going up ahead. DNC in 3-4 at the very least. Beckett going left side, using those straight shrooms. Actually, you would usually use 2 only, but I suppose he just wants to chain to try and get Jerry out of that second as he reds his teammate out of first. Jerry now actually did Did he fail cut? I believe Jerry failed cut. Yeah, Wexo's in first with another Gant member in second. It is Marky, and Wexo's getting that TC passed to him. Quite the chaotic sequence of events as Marky gets redded out. Beckett now in first alone with DNC right behind him. That fib is not going to connect. Jerry shrooming in first immediately, getting that front presence that you need. Not having any more shrooms in the front. Not at the end of the cave, not going to connect with anyone. Beckett stays in second. A lot of chaos in the mid pack. We might want to switch to that to see what they have here, as Jerry should stay in first after he makes that Shroomless successfully this time. And Luna actually has Bill. Interesting. Oh boy. And he's forced to use them almost immediately as that Mega ends in a rather unfortunate spot. So that Bill that you would prefer to dodge in a rather more opportune times gets used rather unorthodoxically. Theodore passing that TC to Eric. Eric should be gone last by the end of this. Getting a TC passed as you get redded is quite rough, but that does mean he's holding on box 8. Should prevent DNC from getting a bit too many dodges, and case in point, Theodore pulling those triple shrooms. Gamt is still in pretty decent spots going into this, regardless of Jerry being in first, holding on to it for a fair long amount of time. Jerry shrooming himself after the cut, just TSing himself and allowing Romp to dodge up into second here. That red not connecting is going to go down in the middle. Maybe Romp going to try one last back shot. Jack Canada not going to connect. Romp only needing to block one of these with a Nana. And DNC getting a top 2 6 7, I believe. So a good once again, clearly not a good race, not that good of a race, but that is all you need if you're DNC. You just need to stay in the lead as much as possible. Another Alpha Shock getting J-Ray first and Romp second with Theodore and Wexos in 6-7. They are now ahead by 25 going into race 10. We're entering dangerous territory here. One or two more good races by DNC could spell doom for Gamt. J-Ray just proving himself in this match, just being constantly in the front, contesting front spot even after that small mistake at the end of lap 1, just shrooming back ahead and staying at first the entire race of the race. That TS spot is a fairly common one, granted, but it is an efficient one as J-Ray was able to dodge, just respawn dodge ahead of the cut and just able to stay in first with Romp right behind him. We'll have to see what DNC picked to try and stay ahead, and Ops to Goon's Palace. That is one I expected earlier, admittedly, out of DNC. Fairly standard top-bottom track pick for them, and GCNBC, and once again, another flat track. This time, not one that they have picked actually on their track list, but that is on Pancake's track list. So choosing an opponent's track pick here, a flat track that they're fairly familiar with, especially in draft spots. Reminder, they're 3, 4, 5. If anyone out of 4 or 5 can get a draft on the top 2 here, they could spell doom for DNC. If they manage to get in the front, we'll have to keep an eye on Beckett to see if in fourth he's able to get up there. This is possibly this could very well be the turning point of the match here. If DNC get a really good race, it could spell doom for Gamt. No drafts being taken by Beckett or his teammates, so DNC is still in top 2, or at least it should be. Never mind, Romp getting hit out, or having to slow down there with Eric, chasing him with a TC, but not going to be able to pass it with anyone. So DNC now in top 2-4 as Theodore shrooms up. Beckett going to try and pass him in the spiral. That Daisy Drift doing wonders, but it's not going to be enough with J-Ray backing tight. Drafts ahead, so DNC now back into 1-3. That fib wide not connecting, no item from J-Ray for now, but that Nana not going to be able to do much from Beckett as that tighter drift gets up, allows him to get up there. That Nana snipe not connecting. That T-Pows both pretty much, but I believe J-Ray actually getting hit with a fireball there, so he is off the track, but DNC still in great spots, especially if Beckett doesn't manage to get an item here, so Romp bumping him out and getting into top 2 with Theodore, regardless of how well that POW call was to POW J-Ray off Wexos, trying to get Marky and Beckett out. Marky actually just shelled out almost immediately DNC in top 2-4 in commanding spots, as both baggers still going backwards, unsure as to whoever could possibly have here. Throws that in away, wants to try and get something a bit more impactful, and someone fell off, either that or a DC. Unfortunate to see from DNC, as Beckett is now in second, only having one out of the two DNC members to take care of here. Thankfully, Rob having enough of a break here to stay in first, but Gamt in 2-3-4 as Theodore pulls a TC in 5. That top 4 is going to be pretty much gone. That is going to be one hell of a pack split going into the ending of lap 2 here, as we see Marky getting up there. Oh, and Beckett actually getting off there. Quite a bit of chaos at the front there. So Beckett gets off, allowing Wexos and J-Ray to get into better spots and dodge almost immediately. That first frame dodge, unfortunately, from J-Ray means that he gets hit by the fireball, so doesn't get as much of a lead as you would want to, but triple shrooms regardless. Luna being the only one up there, going to try and keep that top spot for Gam, the one hope for Gam to stay in this war. Nanas from J-Ray. Marky manages to dodge them out. Wexos having a fairly big distance between him and Luna, so it's either going to be a snipe or nothing here, or a blue shell, really, right as I call it out. Wexos is now in first place with Beckett, thankfully trying to take the mantle here with Trip Reds targeting Wexos. They're not going to connect, so Beckett is only going to stay in second here. J-Ray backing that Fib is not going to connect. But that red might just spell doom in that U-turn, and it does! DNC now in commanding spot as another blue is thrown at Wexos. So he is going to get blue. J-Ray should be in first now. Nice combo by Gams. Nice try by DNC, by Beckett trying and throw that bomb, but it's unfortunately a bit too early for J-Ray to reach that spot. Gets that TC pass onto a DNC member, I do believe. No, it is to his teammate, it is to Eric, unfortunately, and the MC actually get top 2, 5, 7 from this. A good race from them, and if there's not a huge race coming out of Gamt in the next race, it could very well be Kearns from them. This time, not a late shock, but a rather early shock by Alpha, getting DNC in really good spots there, dodging 1 Mega, 1 Star, but J-Ray, even if he gets fireballed there, manages to stay in a decent enough spot to allow his teams to get into a top 2, 5, 7 here. This last race is pretty much do or die for Gamt here. Unfortunate that I would say unfortunate blue from Luna, but Wexos did get blued at the end of lap 3, so rather even exchange, all things considered. J-Ray breaking the 100 barrier before race 11, as he is on 60 pace actually for that last GP. Up 36 now, so if there is a winning race for DNC, it is at the very least all-run territory for Gamt. Obstagoon Palace once again being the pick for DNC top 2, 5, 7. That top bottom spot that they want, and Peach Circuit being picked from Gamt. They need a big luck track to try and get a big race here. Good lord. Sorry. So we'll have to see. Mr. Bean does favor them, thankfully. Gets GBA Peach Circuit. Maybe they're considering all running this. We're not quite no, actually, Bali is run clause, so he cannot all run until the last race if it is not impossible for them to win. So we know all run for Peach Circuit for now. So Luna gets into second immediately, having the tighter line. J-Ray keeping first for now. Gets actually fib-redded. Beckett head out in the exchange, but that allows Luna to slip into first with Eric right behind him. Good start for Gamt overall if another Alpha Shock is not called. Green thrown at Theodore, unfortunately not going to be enough. That fib a bit too tight means he clips the grass, allows Luna and Eric to get back into top 2 with Theodore Romp right behind them. We do see Alpha in 10th. We'll have to see if that means Bali maybe possibly has Shock already, or if it just means that item luck was not in his favor. That POW and Eric drops a green onto his teammate. Unfortunate from Luna as he gets comboed by Marky. A lot of team killing going on there as he was going to get stuck in the back. J-Ray with a star, possibly holding this for a shock lap 3 that would guarantee them the win. Marky hitting out Theodore, getting into 5th here. Gamt still in decent spot even with Luna in 8th now. We'll just have to see whether or not any bagger has shock. We do see one of the baggers going forward, so possible shock coming out from either team here as at the last leg of the race. Beckett being head out, a lot of people being head out from DNC, and before you know it, it's actually pretty much a DNC 2-3-4, and there's the star that we expected. Once again an Alpha KC shock, allowing J-Ray to get into first. 1-3-4 for DNC if nothing bad happens for them in the mid pack. And we see DNC, all of DNC shrooming up. It is 1-3-4-5 for DNC, and it is curtains for Gampt, ladies and gentlemen. DNC will be your second D4 finalist after a huge race on Peach Circuit. Alpha, the MVP of this war, I must say. A lot of shocks going into his favor. Not sure how many of those were in 9. We'll have to ask him possibly in the post-match interview. But regardless, DNC now ahead by 53. Mathematically impossible for Gant to catch up. J-Ray 123 in 11 races. Was pretty much the hero for DNC the entire war, just staying in the front pretty much at all times. Luna trying his hardest to try and compete, but unfortunately just getting hit out a lot of the races, sometimes by his teammates, and just not managing to catch up. And yeah, we'll have to. Not sure if they want to play this last race out for the hell of it. We'll have to see. But regardless. Great match from either team, really close at the start, but a few big races from DNC just allowing them to stay ahead, and Gampt never really got any big races. Any advantage that Gampt took, it was only by single-digit points, and they could just never catch up to DNC. Obstacle Battle is going to be the last track that is picked for this semis. But great match from both teams, I have to say, regardless of how unfortunately not very close it was towards the end. Was still very much appreciated. Just both teams playing it out for the hell of it, as it is once again. This time it is all run, probably not taking it as seriously, obviously. Maybe an opportunity for J-Ray to just try and inflate his average a little bit going into the postseason. But yeah, regardless, so DNC is going to be facing a Pancake in the D4 finals here. For those that are curious, as we see their head-to-head record, I will actually make sure that I'm not mistaken on that one. Pancake getting the best of DNC once by around 76 points, and DNC getting ahead of Pancake by only 14. So a big win for Pancake, a smaller win for DNC. Still equal in the scoreboard technically, but the Pancake win was definitely more dominant with a triple 100 from Clay, Squirrel, and one last member, unfortunately, that I'm not figuring out right now. Unfortunate lounge names not allowing me to really identify who it is, but regardless, Pancake having the most recent win as well, so DNC coming in with a bit of a chip on their shoulder for this finals match. We'll have to see how they deal with that mentally, though they have performed quite well. Oh, by Luna, but they have performed quite well in this match. We'll have to see, just regardless, how much. Oh my God! Almost every single one of my POVs failing cut right now. But yeah, they do have a bit of a chip on their shoulder coming up. Well, hello, Bill and Nate by J-Ray. But Pancake is definitely not a team to underestimate, seeing as obviously they came in on the first seed, but I would say they probably have the better players on paper, though it is obviously not that easy by an objective standpoint. It is a matter of how the races are played in and of themselves. Obviously, if any of you want to make any bets, they are going to be postponed until next week, I will say. Both teams probably not the worst to schedule together, so I would expect it sooner rather than later. And obviously, as I say that, it is going to be Caster Cursed to Hell and back. Nice swamp. But just overall, should expect at least a fairly decently close match if Pancake do not decide to absolutely steamroll. Obviously, the NC showing that they're still quite strong. They had a lot of frontal presence this match as a whole. Aside from a couple races, one or two members were pretty much always in the front. Gamt obviously not being too far behind with Luna and Marquis, but regardless, it's still a really close match between either team, as it looks like Gamt is actually might win this little bonus race here. That shock. Well, actually, I do see a lot of Gamt in the back, and then I say that out loud. A single shroom for Jerry, going to be able to take cut here. Romp it falls off, so Gamt actually getting a pretty decent race from I'm seeing with DNC making 3 of the bottom 4. Yep, so getting that top 3 by Gamt, unfortunately a bit too late, but regardless, great match from them. We'll have to see if any of them are available for an interview. Just having their opinions going into the finals match here, how well they played this match, etc. But regardless, if not, it has been a pleasure casting once again. Oh, Jerry being very enthusiastic as the idea of joining us for an interview here. We'll have to see whether or not we can get them in time. Shouldn't take that long. I'll just let Lawrence do his thing. Solo interview. Playing RT. Well, Theodore is unfortunately cannot join us as he is going to be playing an RT war, but Jerry may be joining us soon. We'll just have to see. I'm not sure if I can, Lawrence. I admittedly am not sure if I can. I don't believe I am able to. So, not sure. My mistake. I'm being informed by my fellow casters that I am in fact very dumb. There you go. Give us just a little bit. We should get the interview started in a moment, as long as Discord decides not to be annoying, which it very much is. There we go. Welcome, DNC. Welcome, Alpha, Jerry. How are you feeling after this match here? Fairly close all throughout, despite a few big races from you.
Can you give me like 2 minutes? I can't fucking make my sound louder.
Oh boy.
All right, I'll take over.
Yeah,
I feel very upset because I have to play at least 2 more matches now.
Actually, I must say, you got quite a few important shocks there, Alpha, just in general, whether Peach Circuit or a lot of shocks that managed, a lot of late shocks that managed to salvage DNC races in general. Was it a matter of outbagging? Did you feel that you got lucky? Which one?
Well, let me tell you about the 9th place item box.
Oh boy.
I'm just kidding. It was like 2 or 3, which, to be fair, is still quite a lot. But like, the more flat tracks that get picked, the better, because I just like outline him basically.
Yeah, the outline.
But unlike the sitting tracks, I got rolled out most of the time.
Hi guys.
Hello Theodore. Hello J-Ray. So how are you two feeling after this match? Fairly close match overall, aside from a few big races by you guys that allowed you to just stay ahead. What are you feeling?
If I could go first,
Ecstatic.
okay, Theo wants to go first. That's fine.
All right,
No,
that's fine.
no. You can go first, Jerry.
Thank you so much. So as a pivotal part of this team, Alpha absolutely carried my because I dodge every shock.
I
So,
did I did see quite a few. I did see quite a few shocks. Granted, you did
Activate
run
shock type stuff. That's
did
all I
run
have to
quite
say.
You did run quite a few tracks, regardless. I must say,
I did do that.
maybe being a bit too hard on yourself, but I did see quite a few dodges as well.
My goat Alpha KC. Let's go. Being in the 10th place position, I just want to give him, we weren't ever going to play this season, and then OJ forced me to play, and I pinged Alpha, and he was like, okay, I'll play. And then he's gotten every week, and he's been absolutely awesome, so I just want to shout him out.
And now he has to play 2 more weeks, which sounds upsetting for him.
Yeah, we might have to play 3 more matches. That's just
Possibly 3
sad.
more. You'll just have to 2-0 to make sure that Alpha doesn't have to play 3 matches.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
use
no.
2-0. That could also work.
Actually,
Whoa.
whoa,
Theo.
let's not speak ill will. Let's not speak ill will. Theodore, I must say as well. I did say Jerry was in the front as well, but you two, it felt like every other race you two were just in the front, just top 2 pretty much gone here. The Romp did do quite a bit of work as well in the mid pack. Did you feel like you were able to keep not easily, but rather that you were able to keep control of top spots fairly consistently throughout this match?
I mean, I made some quite bad mistakes. I don't know if you guys were watching, but
It
I
happens
drove
in
off
every match.
first
We
on the
did
GC, Barca Castle. But I said before the race started that I'm gonna do some stupid on that track because I'm horrible at it. But I think I played all right. I don't.
No one plays their matches perfectly, Theodore. You're all good.
I
And,
think we should highlight
Yeah.
the fact that on GBA Sunset Wilds, Theodore got absolutely owned by his own teammate, me, many
Yeah,
times.
I
Dave
did
was
see
doing
that,
some,
especially at the ending cuts, bumping him at the ending cut there, which prevented you from getting top 2, unfortunately. But
That was lag, but every other time I failed, that wasn't lag. Everything else sucked.
fair enough. Wait, it
I was
is
going
your
minus
word.
20 on that track.
It is your word.
Future
not mine.
IF D3 runner right here, Lock in.
Yeah. Okay.
3 out of 4 main LU and call right now. Let's clap it up for that.
But
No.
Okay.
Regardless, how are you feeling towards Pancake? You did get beaten up quite a bit in your second encounter. Is there a chip on your shoulder going into this last encounter, even though you're 1-1? What's going through your mind right now?
I think personally we played that war against Pancake, the second one, really bad, and I blame luck a lot as well, but we played really bad, and it felt like we also got kind of unlucky in that match with TC's, as Theo's, if we have that POV anywhere where he pulled, what was it, 5 on Lava Road in a row? Like straight, no boxes in between, just him. So it was a mixture of us playing like dog shit, and oh sorry, my bad. Forgot about that.
Say that.
But we played really bad, and it felt like we pulled a lot of teases as well. So, I feel like if we play better, it'll be a lot closer of a match, like we won match 1 as well.
You know what?
Against them.
To that I say, better now than in the postseason.
That's what I'm saying,
Any last words before we wrap it up here?
My team's great. They carry me, even though I scored points. I definitely played awful today. My goat Alpha KC. I just like to say that again.
Monkey had quite a good flip snipe on me, so shoutouts to Monkey.
What are your thoughts on the Daisy, by the way, Alpha? Let's just put that out there.
I'd like to throw a shout out to Beckett for being subject to at least minus 15 on my pens, and maybe a minus 5 that didn't get submitted last race.
I forgot that. My last race? Do you mean Peach Circuit or do you mean Obstagoon?
Obstagoon.
Oh, well,
And just shout outs to him on GCM BC for not being a terrible player, so it was a minus 5 instead of a minus 20.
Oh yeah, that was a minus 20 if he's any CT brain. He's just driving straight off the track. If that's me, easy minus 20.
Well, regardless, you would have still been quite in the lead regardless, but
Yep.
it is fair play to Beckett. Frankly, Gant still played well overall. I will say it was definitely a fun war to watch overall.
Luna's the GOAT, by the way. That guy's so good. I don't he absolutely cooked us. Besides this match, even this match he played really well. but all the other 4 that we played, he absolutely cooked us every single time. Like he is, glazing, but gotta give props.
I mean, he is Div MVP, so I suppose we'll allow it. As I like to say, it is not glazing if it is true. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what next season brings for him. So I believe we're all done here, unless you have one last little thing you want to add. But
I just wanted to compare Luna to Vaxos and Artis because that's basically how it is to play.
Okay.
the glazing continues, but I suppose we shall allow it as it is between.
But it's Wexos though. He's glazable. He's awesome. Love Wexos. All right. Thanks again, Scoped, for
No worries, my throat is once again going to enjoy tomorrow morning, but that is fine. That is a price I'm willing to pay.
Pause.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
Hey yo.
I'm not
Alright.
I'm not gonna stop saying it because the reaction is always funny.
All right. Thank you for the interview and all that stuff.
No worries,
GGs.
appreciate it. So thank you guys, thanks to Gamt for this match, and thank you all of you watching here. It was a pleasure casting for you, and we'll make sure to bring as great of a cast for the D4 finals between the NC and Pancake.